Well, hello and welcome to this space. Oh my, where do I even start? Where do I even begin? This is so exciting for me because I have a lot of new things happening in this space, in the community with Sacred Soul, and I'm just thrilled to share all of the magic with everybody. And you know what? It's so cool looking back on the journey since this all began and since, all this healing and choosing to love myself and choosing myself, choosing my needs. Where do we even begin? It's like sharing my journey to help others, man or woman, to be able to see through the illusions, the denial, the bullshit, the patterns. Oh, the patterns. Do we love patterns? You know what? I've never even really loved patterns growing up or even in my clothing. I'm not into the patterns. But I'll tell you, I've really found myself looped into patterns and it's annoying, of course, but it's all part of the journey and the lessons and why we came here to learn about them, why we are even here. We spawn down here to learn, to evolve, to grow, to make mistakes. I want to give you a massive congratulations because guess what? You have made mistakes. And some of you may have learned from your mistakes, myself included, and sometimes it takes a while. It takes a while to loop into the loopity loop of denial and illusion and mistakes to get it right. And you know what? Who's to say what's right or wrong? But it's ultimately what's right for you and getting out of these karmic loops, patterns, programming. There's things that aren't even yours. Like they were brought into this, you were spawned in here and you're brought into this beautiful world as this beautiful little seed that's starting to sprout like this. And then all of a sudden somebody comes in and says, you can't do that. Be quiet. Don't sing. You're too loud. You're not pretty enough. You're going to eat that. You're fat. Oh, look at your stomach is growing. You're too short. You can't do that sport. You're not fast enough. All of the not enough started to happen. And it was perfectly placed there for us to learn these lessons, to then come home to realizing these programs and other people's opinions mean nothing, zero, zilch. And the only reason why they mean something to you is because you were taught that someone else's opinion mattered and that somebody else's feelings mattered more than your own. And that if you act that way or you do this certain thing and it affects another person, then you're instantly shamed or ridiculed or bad or not good enough. And then you started to learn all of these tools and traits that aren't tools or traits that are helpful for you, but it's okay because it's part of the plan. And then we get to unlearn it and then relearn what works. And part of peeling back the layers and processing all of this can really suck and can feel really uncomfortable for somebody that may not speak their truth and say, this is what I desire, or this is what I would like. This is what I need from you for us to have a healthy relationship. And for somebody that has that challenge to speak their truth, they're going to have a lifetime of learning how to speak their truth and have people come into their environment to then learn that their voice matters. And little by little, layer by layer, you can speak your truth, stand up for yourself, have your own back, and choose to have a really great life that's in alignment with you, for you. And the people that honor you and your feelings and your truth will come together and also fall away. And so many of us are afraid of things falling away, for change, for new, because we had these illusions or ideas embedded in our minds from being little kids that this was the way it was supposed to be, from fairy tale books to relationships to being married. All of this, they're all ideas and they're all conditioning brought in through people, places, and things and other people's ideas. And so maybe when you don't fit into the box or the narrative of what society wants of you or your family has wanted of you, you can then have a lot of shame and guilt and heaviness on your shoulders throughout this lifetime. And so, what I love to do is share the things that may be uncomfortable and may trigger you or others. And also, what my favorite thing ever is to help you see who you truly are before the drama, before the shame, before the trauma, guilt, and the situations that happened, which at times can feel like it's happening to you, and sometimes it can get locked into a victim energy, but ultimately it's for you. And it's easier said than done because when you're in it, you're going through something super intense, it's challenging in those moments to actually be a little bit of light to say, well, how is this happening for me? Opposed to being so dense and deep into the abyss. And that's where tools, community, counselors, healers, friends can really help you see what you might not be seeing and then help you zoom out. Because I'll tell you, no matter what I've been through thus far, the challenges, the depths, the despair, the grief, grief comes in so many forms. And it's like, even talking about it brings emotion. Grief comes in so many forms. Grief comes when a relationship or marriage doesn't work out the way that you thought it was going to work out. And what your mind had envisioned for you in your life, you need to grieve that relationship. You need to grieve what you wanted it to be. You need to grieve what it wasn't. You need to grieve how other people showed up in your relationship. You need to grieve who you were in that relationship and who you no longer are. We have grief that comes from endings. We have grief that comes from our loved ones exiting. Our loved ones exiting is a whole new level of longing, missing. It's love that we have. It feels like it has no place to go. And that's even the love of an ending of a relationship, the love you had for that person. You're longing, like, where can I place it? Where can I place this love outside of myself? Can I place it in another person? And then people long to look for someone else to fill the void. Maybe they're fulfilling it with drugs or alcohol or shopping or gambling or false fulfillment, sex. Maybe it's in self-abuse. Maybe it's not coping or dealing with the things that are coming your way. And we all have ways of dealing or not dealing. But ultimately, what it's about is it's the pain that you're feeling. And when we can acknowledge the pain that we're feeling and sit with it instead of looking outside of ourselves to get rid of it, to mask it, to push it down, to just take this massive feeling and tell ourselves, this feeling is too big, it's too strong, and I can't deal with you. And then ultimately, that little girl or little boy within telling them that it can't be witnessed, that its emotions are too big, or its sadness, or its grief, or its anger isn't worthy of being felt. And our bodies are just so desperately trying to tell us, hey, I need you. I need you to pay attention. This is so beautiful for me to share this because it's just taken a really long time to learn. And it does take time as we peel back the layers and we go through life experiences, that the feelings and the emotions that are in all of us are just desperately screaming out to be seen, to be heard, to be witnessed, acknowledged, loved. We need to just acknowledge and honor ourselves first. We're so quick to bypass our own need because it's too painful to feel. So then we help another or we distract. And I don't believe anybody's actually addicted to things, feel like they're addicted to escaping the pain. And once you can start to sit with the pain and acknowledge it and look within, you can start to free yourselves to be lighter. And you'll notice you're not going to reach for the alcohol or the cigarettes, food, distraction. You'll actually find a place and some peace in the chaos, in the emotion. And emotion, grief, gonna come up. We're gonna deal with it. And you know what, you guys? Every single one of us can never escape the exiting experience, not only from ourselves, but exiting these bodies, but our family members that we love so dearly. And what I love to bring awareness to is, how do we honor that? How do we honor ourselves through the grieving process? How do we honor ourselves through relationship? Contracts they are up. They come up and they've done their job, but we get so caught up in these relationships as being the end all be all of our lives, and they're not. They're meant to come in for a reason, and sometimes it's to help us evolve, sometimes it's to help us on our path, to be there by our side, sometimes it's just to hurt us. And there is no right or wrong. To help us move. If life was super easy, it would be pretty boring and we wouldn't move very far, step into the things that we came here to do. So in sharing this, my invitation to you is, next time you're angry, or you're sad, or you're grieving, or you miss, ultimately it's a mirror to what's going on inside. And I just invite you to sit with it. Give yourself and your body permission to fully sit with the emotion. You deserve, your body deserves it, to face it. I had a little ding come in on here, so I'm just sit and feel. Breathe. Life isn't as complicated as we make it. Breathe, to drink water, to let the energy flow through our body. Go out in nature. We are very simple, and we're human beings, but often we're humans doing. You end up doing so much. Just create this chaos of doing and distraction. Like, come home. Just be. Sit on your couch. Look outside. Honor the home that you're in. Grateful for the walls that are around you, your lungs, that you're able to breathe, your eyes to see, your fingers to be able to touch and to hug, and your arms and your legs that you can walk, or if you're in a wheelchair, or if you have something else, look for the light and the positive that you can still move around. You know, when I was away, I got real still, and I started looking at things in my life and what I want to do, what I want to really do with my time, how distracted I was some days, and how to bring more balance in. I was in these classes, beautiful yoga classes, and this woman was just like a traditional, authentic yogi. And it was all about being and going super slow. And she said to me, she's like, you know, like, yoga isn't about the external. She's like, yoga is about the internal. When you turn your body and you're squeezing and detoxing your liver, your kidneys, your stomach, wringing it out. You're moving stagnant energy. The body will never, ever let go of the image, the memories, the feelings, unless they're acknowledged. They remember. Your organs, everything is a sponge. And so when you move your body and you're flowing, you're making and creating space, and you're feeling. And often, even in yoga, you feel things, and sometimes an old memory comes up, an image, or even just a feeling. And you know, those uncomfortable feelings, and you're in that position, it's working. You're actually being present to an emotion or a feeling in your body. And by getting quiet enough and still enough, you can move through it a lot more effort. So when I would go to this every day, you would explain and share these beautiful, simple tools. I started implementing them and noticing a change in my body, the way I was standing. She says, like, them as like a wing. Open them up, close them together, stand tall, allow the energy to move through your body. Just it started to click, and I was like, wow, I don't have to be pushing myself so hard with these workouts. I can go slow and gentle. And as I was doing that, my body just even started to change on the outside. And I was like working smarter instead of harder. And we did some breathing. And she was just explaining how the breath, when you're breathing fast, you're in fight or flight. When you're breathing slow, you're in calm, rest in your seat, relaxing your body to just breathe. No matter what comes into our path, we can handle it. We can handle hard things. And when we zoom out, when you look at the big picture of it all, little blip in time doesn't really matter. Little blip is gonna pass. Life has a beautiful way of always coming back around. And it always works out. That's why I say, life is best understood backwards. When I look back on my journey, I see those pieces. Oh, this happened. For this to happen, something else. Dar's exit has been the greatest teacher of so many things, even getting me on the path, being in the hospice and volunteering, companioning others, being by their side, being there, another human being, just being there for somebody else, to hold their hand, for them a drink and listen. We really don't need much. And when you get quiet enough and create space in the uncomfortability, it does seem scary and daunting at first, and it feels uncomfortable. It taught us when we were a child, when we were angry, express that anger and to hit a pillow, that it was safe for us to feel angry. And it was our body's way of saying a boundary has been crossed. This is not okay for me. How do I deal with this? And how do we deal with it is by dealing with it, dealing with the emotion that's presenting itself. So many of us didn't have the tools and weren't taught how to deal. And I always say, dealing is to feel. Healing is dealing. Dealing is feeling. It is so important for us to not only act on them when we're triggered, for our children, when we're with an emotion, how are we going to express it instead of suppress it, and creating the safe space to do so. And sometimes that might look like you're going to go home and you're going to lay under your covers and you're going to give yourself 15 to 20 minutes to cry, to feel, to scream into a pillow, to do a meditation, but to promise yourself that you are not going to escape yourself any longer, because you are running from somebody that is so special, and that is you. We will keep cycling and circling and looping back to the same damn lesson that we're so desperately trying to escape. And we keep running, but all you have to do is sit and face it. Look it in the eyes and just surrender to the feeling. When I started doing that, it was so uncomfortable and it got so big. It felt like I was dying. I was like, I can't feel this, because if I let my body feel this, I don't know what's going to happen to me. And then I finally had the courage to do that. I sat, I didn't distract, I didn't reach for my phone. I said, I'm going to fucking feel it. And then I did. And every time I felt it, and I let it get bigger and bigger. Okay, I'm going to feel this, let it live. It was like a scary feeling that I let live and get bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden, it popped. It's like all that I've been running from for this long is a fucking feel. Next time that feeling came up or something different, a trigger, anger. You so desperately want to reach out and message that person. You want to engage. You want to teach them. You want to prove to them. You want to punish them. The moment you reach your phone, the moment that you yell back, the moment you punch the person in the face that punched you, the moment you just lost, you entered into the frequency of the other person. That is a cycle. The moment you drop the cord, choose a new way, you choose a new path, you choose a new pattern, you choose better, you choose yourself, because no person, place, or thing has any power or control over you or me unless I give my power away. And there are certain things in life that are not worth giving your power away. Own your own power. stay inside and not worth it. Don't engage. You need you. You need to sit inside and sit and feel. Let that uncomfortable feeling come and go. Let the cords choose a new way. It's not easy. It's going to take practice. All you have is time. It's called a redo. You can do it over and over and over and over again. The cycle will never give up on you. It will keep cycling. The moment that you wake up and you decide to get out of the cycle, thank the very thing that pushed you, triggered you, to get you to this place of peace and calm, power. You can really do this. The cycle ends when you decide. Something else that I'll share. I decided after all of the silence, me sitting through the yoga classes, always, doing the work, times avoiding it, sometimes having the courage to face it. I started to get really quiet and these ideas started popping into my mind, and I met different people, and everybody has a different way. Everybody, whether you do YouTube videos or you have a podcast or you're a social media guru or you've got so many followers on Instagram, or you help people in the community, or you volunteer, or you work at Save On, or whatever that is. Everybody has their way. And I thought about it, I was like, what's so needed is support. What did I need? What helped me get through the darkest times? Not only was it myself, but it was community. It's a community of people that believe in you, that love you, and know that you deserve better. It could be from one person up to 5. But when you have people that are in your corner, that believe in you, and you believe in yourself, you can really do anything. It's when we segregate ourselves and we're alone, we allow ourselves to be coerced, manipulated, controlled, kept under fear as false evidence appearing real. It's so important to jump out of fear, not even real. But it is challenging to do that when you're in problems, situations, and that's why community is so important, and accountability, and having others that are cheering you on. I was sitting in after I got back, being fully honest, from beautiful vacation, I had a lot of time and I had a lot of grief, moving the heart, doing all the yoga poses. There was a lot of grief coming up. And I'm like, dang, this grief is just something else. Like, comes in waves unexpectedly, and it's just feeling pretty low. I was like, even just the feeling of the love, but I felt like there was nowhere to go. And I'm like, I have so much love. Right, love. And when I was sitting there thinking about different things, I got these massive insight, like in that silence, you guys. Damn, creating silence is so beautiful. Like, I was shown this beautiful opportunity, and it was create a space for people to come. It doesn't have to be in person, be through your phone. Like, this can be so effortless, and it doesn't have to be this big thing. And then little by little, step by step, I just created it effortlessly, so easy. And then people just started showing up, and it makes me emotional because it's like just an exchange. It's people trusting in me to help them, mirror them, but as well as trusting myself and my own insight, take action, and to try something new. And as I keep leaning forward and doing it and showing up and creating this beautiful community and this WhatsApp group, I'm just watching this thing blossom, and it's feeding itself. People are making massive changes and showing up for themselves. And this is what it's about. It was like, what did I need during that time? And I needed consistency. I needed the accountability and the safe space to go. And for something that could just, maybe it's turning on some music and a prompt to get you to dance, to change and alter your state. Maybe it's writing a love letter to yourself, and all these prompts and things that are being created in this group, in this WhatsApp group. It's so effortless, and I love it. And it's magical, and it's so special. And then it's just, I'm watching this thing evolve to having class where we meet in class, and it's a space to receive. You receive energy healing and a beautiful guided meditation. Simple, to just be, allowing others to come in and to feel, feeling safe. And sometimes we don't feel safe to feel really big things on our own. but having a safe container and a meditation where you can just be together and to receive, man, is that powerful. And it's effortless. So if you're going through a difficult time or having a hard time sitting with yourself, get into a community. You're not alone. It's powerful. And being around like-minded individuals just feels like home. And sometimes we're not going to find like-minded individuals within our own family or people we thought were going to be there to show up for ourselves. That's okay. Keep looking and don't ever give up on yourself. I believe this life is meant to be lived happily, abundant, seeking all of your own insight from within, coming home to yourself. I'm going to leave this here. And thank you so much for as I share. And I have lots of shares, lots of things that I've experienced, and lots of different topics. Ultimately, it's self-love, going through the hard things and knowing that you're not alone and you